Hello everyone, it is Qwyvie here, and I'm going to be teaching you how I animate. So first, you want to go into your drawing app that you use and make like separate body parts so that they should look a little bit like this. I would suggest like making one limb, and then in Alight Motion you can duplicate the layers. So if you use Ibis Paint like me, you're gonna have to save image and click and turn on transparent so that the background does not show. Now that you've done that, you want to go to Alight Motion. We'll just have to wait for this side. Then once you're in, you're gonna click Create New Project, and then you can select any ratio you like, and also select the frame rate. And once you've created the new project, add your parts in from your gallery. Then you can adjust this timing to whatever you'd like it to. Okay, so then you click this button right here to bring all the layers, like extend all the layers over there. And then you're gonna click this, and then you can connect the layers to each other. So what you want to do is that you want to connect the head onto the torso, and the face onto the head, and the arm to the torso. Now, I don't really connect the legs to the torso, but you can do that if you want to. So now you can see that all the layers move. And then to duplicate it, you click these two squares that have a plus on it, and then you click duplicate layer. And then to flip it, you click that, and then you click flip horizontally. Yeah. And then you can duplicate this. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Now that you've done that, we're gonna start on pivot points. So pivot points are where the joints will like move and stuff. So for example, if I put the pivot point at the bottom of the face, it does not move the top, which actually really affects it, and it actually does help. So for the head, you want to put the pivot point at the bottom, kind of like this, and then you put the pivot point at the bottom of the torso, and then you put these pivot points at, for the legs, it's either like the top or the bottom, but if you want to do like the squish down, then the bottom would work. Also, if the layer is flipped, it will move backwards. The pivot point will move backwards. So you're just gonna have to learn how to control that. Now that you've gotten that, you can go to this, then you click this, and then if you see to add keyframes and like make it like move stuff and like moving stuff, you put the pivot points where you want to, and then you change like the graphs and stuff, and then you can get these graphs by getting pro or watching an ad, but I would recommend watching an ad. There is a lot of graphs that you can use for like tweening and bouncing. Like this one. Also, to copy the graphs, you click the 3 dots and then you click copy curve. And then you can go to the head. Well, this is what most people do, at least I think, that like they use this bounce graph to like, I mean, for the movement. I'm sorry, I'm so bad at explaining, and I'm very bad at tutorials. And then for the face, you can like move it down and like squeeze it with the layer. Why did I say the layer? So like this. And then if you want to, wait, what did I say if you want to? I'm sorry guys, I'm so sorry. I'm very bad at tutorials. And then, so like, I recommend like doing on the left arm, you do, like, not like in the negatives, you do like, for example, 4 degrees. And then for the other arm, you do -4 degrees. See how that looks? Okay. Now it's time for the legs. So just basically repeat what you did with the torso. So just like this. Yeah. And then this is also optional. If you want to, you can, I'm going to teach you guys how to do like a hip sway. So basically you put the layer at the top of the torso, then you go to skewing, and then, for example, I would do like -3.3 degrees, and then 3.3 degrees. And then I would recommend using this because it actually looks better. Well, I wouldn't recommend changing the graphs. So this graph looks good. So you want to copy that, and then you add your legs layer. And this time you want to connect. And this time you actually want to put the pivot point on top and connect it to the torso. Also, skewing does not connect on child layers. For the parental layers, it does not work on the child layers. It is just moving alone, I guess you could say that. Wait, no, you want to put it at the bottom. I'm sorry. Then you copy the graph from earlier, and then you can do whatever the last keyframe has a degree as, and then you have this. Although you can still do the bounce on the torso, just so that it looks better. Okay, so then you want to go to the torso layer, click effects, and then you click add effect, and then you search up scale assist. It actually really helps you. So it's actually not that hard to control once you get the hang of it. So you can do that. And then you have that. Just pretend that there's like an other leg there. Now I'm going to be teaching how I make backgrounds. So then you want to go to shapes, and then you, like, this is optional, but you can make it like the size of the canvas that you're working on. And then you can make it as long as you want to. Then you can click color and fill, and then you can like change the colors and stuff. So I'm going to be using pink for this one. Also, sometimes I use the gradient overlay just for that nice look. Just like this. I haven't actually used oh, never mind. So then to like find those like checker and radial raise background thingies, you click procedural, and then you can find these, and it is grid, checker, radial raise, and stripes, which is basically the ones that I use. So I haven't used grid yet, but we can try it out. And also you can like adjust all of these settings as much as you'd like to, and you can also change the color of the grid, which is pretty cool. And you can also like kind of animate this. So you do that. I have no idea what's happening there. So you can do that, and then you click copy layer. You can just set the graph to whatever you'd like, but don't make the thing that bad. So you can adjust these, but don't like make it way too far, because like then it'll just look not clear. So you can do it like a little bit, and then it'll start looking like this. And then you add another shape, and then you can make it the same color as the pattern, and then you extend it. Also, to add like to where you want like basically keyframes, but you don't animate with it, you just click on the seconds timer, and then you can do that. Instead of going to 7 seconds, I go to 6 and 59 seconds. So just like that. And then you can click, and then you can go to movement, and then you move it down or up if you want to. And then it'll look like this. Also, you might want to move it down a bit more. And then you can copy the layer, and then you set it over here. And then you can do the opposite of that. And then you have this. Also, you can add like a star or like a heart for just to like add something to your background. I would recommend making it like kind of the same color as your background. And then you can do this. So it'll end up looking a bit like this. And I think that's all I'm going to include in this tutorial today. Bye bye guys.